Here are the top stories for today, October 4, 2021. Get that jab and win. The government launches an incentive program for those fully vaccinated against COVID-19 as it aims to boost vaccination efforts to protect public health and revive the economy. Jabs, jabs, and more jabs. The Philippines gets another 1.8 million doses of Pfizer jabs donated by the United States, which will be deployed to select areas outside of Metro Manila. Retiring from politics, President Rodrigo Duterte drops his bid for vice presidential race, but Senator Bongo takes over as the PDP Laban's bet for the post. And more diners, more fun. The Tourism Department welcomes the expanded indoor dining capacity for fully vaccinated individuals. Good day, I am William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Despite the announcement of President Rodrigo Duterte on Saturday that he will no longer run for the upcoming national elections, his ally at the PDP Laban says there is still a possibility that the chief executive will change his mind. In an interview, Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi, who sits as the elected president of his faction at the PDP Laban, says the president may still change his mind depending on the situation. But for now, he said the party acknowledges his statement as President Duterte has personally accompanied Senator Christopher Bongo in filing his certificate of candidacy for the vice president position. Later that day, the president also announced that his daughter, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte, will run for president with Senator Bongo as her running mate. Mayor Duterte just filed her certificate of candidacy on that same day to run again for mayor in Davao City. She has previously denied that she would run for the national position next year. The president, in an interview, has confirmed that the Sara-Go tandem was a go. However, the presidential daughter has not commented about the pronouncement. The filing of the certificate of candidacy is up until October 8, while withdrawals and substitutions will be allowed until November 15. Meanwhile, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said President Duterte would spend the remainder of his term guiding the country towards post-COVID-19 recovery. Roque said the president has clearly spoken that he will no longer aspire for the second highest position in the land. He said the president bowed to the will of the Filipinos for him not to pursue the vice presidential race, as reflected in the June 2021 Social Weather Station survey. Roque assured that the legacy of his programs and projects as well as reform initiatives will continue. He also said that the president would proactively campaign for his candidates and make sure that the conduct of the coming 2022 elections would be free, honest, peaceful, and credible. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso and Dr. Willie Ong have filed their certificates of candidacy this morning for the presidential and vice presidential tandem under the Acción Democrático Party. Moreno said he chose to file his certificate of candidacy today as he wanted it to be done in the feast day of St. Francis of Assisi. He said he was named after the patron saint of animals. Meanwhile, social media influencer Dr. Willie Ong admits that while he was a reluctant candidate, he would do his best to improve the pandemic response of the country. Among those who are inclined in their ticket are Mindanao civic leader Samira Gutok at radio anchor Carl Balita. The Duterte government built more than 1 million housing units for the country's low-income families. In his report to President Rodrigo Duterte, Human Settlements and Urban Development Secretary Eduardo Del Rosario said his department has so far constructed 1,076,277 housing units produced and financed from 2016 to June 2021. He said the government targets to construct 1.2 million housing units until the end of 2022.
Mr. President, I would like to emphasize that during this administration, wala po tayong maririnig na substandard housing or substandard housing project because we committed ourselves, the whole housing sector, to ensure that there will be no substandard housing during our administration. And the housing production generated 9 million jobs from 2016 to 2020 contributing about 5% of the Philippines' total employment.
The National Housing Authority reports that more housing units will be constructed for Yolanda survivors. NHA General Manager Marcelino Escalada Jr. said that during the Duterte administration, the housing agency has completed 148,000 housing units and there will be an additional 24,526 units by December of 2021 and 21,574 by June of 2022.
Then, under your administration, we called the old Yolanda and the new Yolanda. So, bago na rin yung pabahay na binigay natin. Sabi ko, yung old Yolanda is an irreversible situation. We cannot do. Tapos na yun siya. Bidded out na, constructed na, completed na. So, let it be that way. But the new Yolanda under the Duterte administration should be something better than that of the previous one. Next. So, ito yung mga pictures natin, Mr. President, of the new Yolanda that we provided.
PCOO Secretary Martin Andanar bared long-term plans for the country's first media training facility during the groundbreaking ceremony of the first Government Communication Academy in Bukidnon. Andanar said the academy will offer technical courses for both public information officers and private media workers. It will provide executive certificates in communication in radio, television, social media, broadcasting, and newswire distribution. Andanar said the academy will tie up with the Development Academy of the Philippines, University of the Philippines Los Baños, and the Northern Bukidnon State College. Private media workers are also welcome to contribute their expertise. Still to come, get jabbed and win. Up to ₱1 million is up for grabs for those fully vaccinated against COVID-19. We find out how. And reviving tourism one step at a time, Bantayan Island is stepping up its vaccination drive to lure more tourists. Details ahead, this is the PNA Newsroom. The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly changed our lives for the worse. Lives and jobs were lost and economies reached a meltdown. Thanks to the arrival of safe and effective vaccines, we are one step closer to normalcy. It's time to do our part, get vaccinated for our safety and for our recovery.
You are there in that community, go there and have yourself vaccinated by any of the vaccines available. They are all potent, they are all effective.
I would like to appeal to all our kababayans, please get vaccinated against COVID-19 and be the government partner in preventing further spread of the disease. I encourage you to get vaccinated as soon as possible time. These vaccines are safe and they are the key to reopening our society. The need for international solidarity and cooperation cannot be made clearer than this pandemic because everyone is safe. No one is safe globally until everybody is safe.
Vaccines work. Fully vaccinated individuals may receive up to ₱1 million in the government's bakunado program. The government has allotted the fund for the incentives to encourage more Filipinos to get vaccinated against COVID-19. About 100 vaccinated individuals may receive ₱5,000 each per month. This program, which started last month, will run until December. For the grand draw, 10 entries will be picked. Lucky winners will get ₱100,000 for the third prize, ₱500,000 for the second prize, and ₱1 million for the first prize. To join, simply text Res Bakuna space Type the first letter of your COVID-19 vaccine brand and send it to 8933. The latest Pfizer shipment will be deployed to Calabarzon and Central Luzon, while succeeding deliveries will go to Central Visayas and Davao region. This after the country received another batch of Pfizer vaccines yesterday morning. The latest shipment of 1,813,500 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine arrived yesterday morning on top of the 889,200 doses that arrived on Saturday. Vaccine Czar Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. said the country's total supply stands at 77,410,640 doses. He said more government-procured Pfizer jabs are slated for delivery this month, along with Moderna and Sinovac. Moderna and Pfizer jabs will be used in the pilot inoculation of minors beginning October 15. The Department of Health noted a decrease in the number of COVID-19 cases in the country, along with a decline in the number of testing output. In an online forum, Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere pointed out the need to ensure daily submission of antigen time list and continue active case finding to validate the decline. She said the health department recommends to shorten interval from detection to isolation, ensure facility isolation, and ramp up vaccination. Vergere also said that the department sees minimal improvements in healthcare utilization rate, stressing the need to decongest hospitals of asymptomatic and mild cases through transfers to step-down facilities and ensuring strong triage and referrals to prevent fatalities.
Looking at our daily tests and daily positivity rates, we saw that compared to the previous 7 days of September 18 to 24, the daily tests as of the recent 7 days were down by 11.8%, currently with a 7-day moving average of 69,055 tests. National positivity rate for the recent 7 days was at 22%, down from a 24%. A decline in positivity rate mirrors the negative 2-week growth rate we have previously presented. However, in this slide, we observed that 14 regions had less number of RT-PCR tests done in the recent week versus the previous week. The largest decline was for the National Capital Region.
3 municipalities in Bantayan Island have stepped up their vaccination program to encourage more tourists. A total of 3,494 individuals were inoculated in Bantayan, Santa Fe, and Madridejos on Friday and Saturday. A similar activity is also scheduled in Camotes Islands, one of the most visited sites in Cebu. The Office of the Presidential Assistant, Cebu Provincial Office, and the Interagency Task Force Visayas spearheaded the event. OPAB Secretary Michael Lloyd Dino stressed the need to restore tourist confidence in Cebu to help jumpstart economic recovery. Aside from implementing minimum health protocols, he said Cebu can ensure the safety of both tourists and locals through vaccination. The Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, assures anew the stringent data privacy employed on the Philippine Identification System, or PhilSys, national ID system. In a statement, the PSA said it regularly conducts privacy impact assessments for the design and processes, or PhilSys. Through the PIA done by an independent third party, all data privacy and security risks are identified. The PSA also said all relevant measures are in place for personal data and identification of registrants of the PhilID card. The Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, meanwhile said the security assessment method is one of the structural measures to check on PhilSys data protection and cybersecurity. The PhilSys project also undergoes regular vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, and third-party software code audits. The PSA said the data provider remains to be the owner and all private information cannot be accessed by anyone. Up next, the National Housing Authority touts project for Yolanda victims under the Duterte administration. And the Tourism Department welcomes expanded indoor dining capacity for fully vaccinated persons. Back after a quick break, stay with the PNA Newsroom.
Ito ang Fast 5. Mayroon tayong 5 minuto para tanungin ang mga eksperto tungkol sa COVID-19.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Ana Ong Lim and I'm with the DOH Technical Advisory Group.
Anong mga sintomas ng COVID-19 ang pwede i-treat sa bahay?
So napakagandang tanong. Ang mga mild symptoms, pinakakaraniwan pa rin siya sa mga nararamdaman ng mga taong nagpa-positive sa COVID-19. Kasama na dito yung lagnat, ubo, sipon, pananakit ng katawan, yung iba nagtatae. Pinaka-importante talaga is bantayan yung hirap sa paghinga kasi once sumumpong na yon, hindi na natin pwedeng sabihin mild and definitely kailangan na siguro na makita sa ospital o makita ng kanilang doktor.
Paano natin malalaman kung pwede tayo mag-home isolation?
Magandang mapag-usapan ng home isolation kasi lalo na ngayon, no, maraming mga taong nasa mga TTMFs or quarantine facilities or even sa hospital. And for as long as yung ating pamamahay ay may sariling lugar or isang silid na kung saan pwedeng mamalagi yung may sakit, and mas maganda rin sana na may sarili siyang magagamit na banyo.
Ano naman ang pwede kong gawin kung meron akong lagnat?
Ang lagnat ng COVID is not any different kumpara dun sa lagnat na nadala ng ibang sakit. Kino-consider natin na may lagnat ng isang tao pagka ang kanyang temperatura ay 37.5 pataas. Now, typically, kung meron tayong lagnat, iniinuman lang naman natin to ng paracetamol. Karaniwan, isang tableta tuwing ika-4 hanggang ika-6 na oras.
Ano naman ang home treatment para sa sore throat?
Ang sore throat, karaniwan, ginagamot lang natin yan using supportive care. So tulad na lang ng saline gargles or pagmumog, no, ng water na may konting asin, o kaya pwede ring gumamit ng mga menthol preparations or menthol candies para lang medyo maibsan yung pananakit ng lalamunan.
Ano naman ang warning signs ng paglala ng mga sintomas?
Ang pinaka-importanting bantayan sa mga simptomas na lumalala na related to COVID-19 is really yung hirap sa paghinga. Pwede rin yun na rin na magdala nung confusion. Pwede rin yung mga simptomas tulad ng sobrang panghihina kasi halos hindi na makakain, hindi makainom, no? So yung mga ganong klaseng signs, kailangan siyang masubaybayan ng healthcare professional.
Paano ko naman maiiwasang mahawaan ang mga kasama ko sa bahay?
Pinaka-importante dun sa iisipin natin pag tayo nag-isolate is dapat talaga nakabukod tayo sa ibang tao. So, dun lang tayo sa ating silid, dun na tayo kakain, hindi na tayo lalabas hanggang makatapos ng 10 araw. Now, kung tayo naman ay nasa isang lugar na shared bathroom pa rin ang ating ginagamit, sana yung surfaces ng banyo tulad nung yung doorknobs, yung faucet, yung pinaka-surface ng lababo, at saka yung pinag-upuan natin sa inidoro, pupunasan muna natin yan bago natin iwanan ng banyo para yung susunod na gagamit, hindi naman mahawaan ng ating mga secretions o yung mga tilamsik ng ating laway kung sakasakali naman ay tayo ang gumamit ng banyo.
Sino po ang pwedeng kausapin kung may karagdagang mga tanong pa ako?
Maraming resources sa ating mga communities at napakaraming health workers na handang tumulong. No? So unang-una na siguro doon yung ating mga BHERTs, no? Sila naman ay naabisuhan, o yung mga midwives or nurses sa ating community, even our local health center physicians, they're always ready to help us with our questions.
Maraming salamat, Doc Ana. May mga paalala pa po ba kayo?
Karamihan pa rin naman sa mga kababayan natin nagpa-positive for COVID ay nabibilang dun sa mild and asymptomatic category. So, mukha namang kaya, no? Most of the time, nababantayan itong ating mga kapamilya within the home. Ang importante lang, siguro habang maaga, meron ng link to telemedicine o kaya nakausap natin yung ating mga barangay or community healthcare workers para kung sakasakalit medyo lumala yung lagay ng ating kapamilya ay nakaset up na kung anong susunod nating gagawin. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat and mag-ingat po tayo.
Bida Solusyon Plus laban sa COVID-19.
The National Housing Authority said the Duterte administration hopes to close the gap in the number of housing units with the actual beneficiaries hit by Typhoon Yolanda years ago. NHA General Manager Marcelino Escalada Jr. called the house built during the Duterte administration new Yolanda as compared to the old Yolanda, which were completed with lesser quality. The NHA chief said that during the Duterte administration, the housing agency has completed 148,000 housing units for Yolanda survivors. There will be an additional 24,000 units by December of 2021 and 21,000 by June of 2022, he added. Escalada also reported the close cooperation between the NHA, the Office of Civil Defense, and the Department of National Defense in releasing funds for communities affected by natural disasters. And to quickly assist affected communities, the government revised the Emergency Housing Assistance Program. Former rebels and cadres of the Communist Party of the Philippines New People's Army National Democratic Front claim they can best identify who are behind the operations of the communist terrorist group. Jeffrey Celis, also known as Eric Almendras, slammed Kabataan Party List Representative Sara Elago for denying anew her ties with the CPP and PANDF. He said no one but their former NPA comrades themselves are red-tagging Elago and the rest of the Makabayan bloc and pointing out their involvement in the CTG's crimes. Celis and other former NPA members filed criminal cases against CPP founding chair Jose Maria Sison, Elago, and other communist leaders at the Department of Justice or DOJ on Friday. Luisa Espina, the mother of missing Polytechnic University of the Philippines student and Anakbayan recruit Louvain Erica, also filed raps against Sison, Elago, and their cohorts. They want to see these CTG leaders to be held accountable for violations of the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act and the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act. The Department of Tourism has welcomed the expanded indoor seating capacity for fully vaccinated persons in establishments in the National Capital Region. Based on the recent Interagency Task Force resolution, indoor dine-in services are now allowed 20% seating capacity with an additional 10% for establishments granted a safety seal by the government. Restaurants may provide seating for outdoor dining at 30% plus additional 10% if they have a safety seal. Tourism Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat said 99% of tourism workers employed in DOT-accredited hotels and restaurants in Metro Manila have been inoculated against COVID-19. She said they are confident with the cooperation of tourism stakeholders to ensure the safe reopening of restaurants. The Philippine Sports Commission is holding a series of webinars through its Batang Pinoy and Philippine National Games programs as it aims to develop athletes in the grassroots despite the pandemic. Beginning October 5, local government units are expected to attend the webinar, which will share updates on international sports technical rules. In cooperation with various national sports associations and international federation accredited technical officials, the updated standard rules of the sports possible to be played in the Olympics will soon be discussed. Sports to be covered are taekwondo, table tennis, chess, athletics, weightlifting, archery, karate-do, cycling, swimming, Muay Thai, and arnis. PSC Chairman Butch Ramirez said that with the current trend of younger athletes breaking Olympic records, it is time to properly manage and secure the country's potential star athletes. Zamboanga City is celebrating with fewer worshippers outside at the Feast of Our Lady of the Pillar on October 12 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The grand procession of Our Lady of the Pillar Feast or Fiestas del Pilar will be held with protocols and traffic rerouting in place. The grand procession will be limited to just 100 worshippers regardless of vaccination status. Earlier, the city government issued an executive order limiting the number of participants in all religious events from October 3 to 13. Fiestas del Pilar is the highlight of the Zamboanga Hermosa festival that kicked off Friday. She is the most revered patron saint of Zamboanga City and is the patroness of Spain, Hispanic people, policemen, and postmen. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. Get that jab and win. The government launches an incentive program for those fully vaccinated against COVID-19 as it aims to boost vaccination efforts to protect public health and revive the economy. Jabs, jabs, and more jabs. The Philippines gets another 1.8 million doses of Pfizer jabs donated by the United States, which will be deployed to select areas outside of Metro Manila. Retiring from politics, President Rodrigo Duterte drops his bid for vice presidential race, but Senator Bongo takes over as the PDP Laban's bet for the post. And more diners, more fun. The tourism department welcomes the expanded indoor dining capacity for fully vaccinated individuals. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear your face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, check our webpage or log on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And it is finally 82 days more to go before Christmas, and our counting is going fast. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, we tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day, everyone.